Right, this is VY-V6 Commodore. We had that problem where you could not turn the key into ignition. Now this car was driven in the morning, 3 times, turned off and on, no problem. There was no warning about this. The car was left in the driveway for a couple of hours in the afternoon, came out to try and turn, could not turn that key in this ignition. Now this has been replaced already, so this is a new one. Alright, but I'm going to show you what we did to sort it out. We tried WD-40, then we cleaned that out as best we could. We tried graphite, we tried tapping the end of the key. As you'll find out on the internet, there's all these things to try whacking there. None of it worked. 3 or 4 hours of that sort of stuff, we had enough. Now you can get a locksmith out and he'll charge you 200, 250 bucks or whatever, and he'll sort it out in no time because he's done it heaps of times before. But look, this way, you're just going to make up a special tool. You'll have to buy yourself a new lock ignition barrel from Holden. There's the part number, 921722018. Alright, that was the end of December 2015. It was 75 bucks from Holden, from our Holden dealer. That's in Penrith. Anyway, I'll show you how to do it. Take the key out. All we did is we got a chisel. There's your normal chisel. These are just from Aldi, nothing special. And it's the same chisel modified, okay, so it'll fit in the ignition. So you put it in here, pair of multi-grips, and you just snap that end tip off. Actually, we think that's where the problem was. So you end up with this, alright, there's the part that goes inside the barrel. So there's your barrel, that goes inside there. This is usually hanging on the end here, and we just snap that off. We think that little spring-loaded bit there is probably causing the issue. That's supposed to be spring-loaded. Snap that off, and you've got to keep your wafers in the right order when you pull it out, because you're going to have to code the new one to the same numbers. These are numbers 1 to 9. You need to code them exactly the same way. One side will be odd, one side will be even. Alright? So when you take the old one out, make sure you try and keep it intact so you can copy and build the new one, because you've got to build it. Put the new pin in there. There's a pin that goes in here. Alright? And you've got to put it back together, of course, and make sure it's right. And that little bit there on the head, there's a little spring in it too. These have all got these little springs in them. You'll see them in the packet when you get the new one. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's a spring for the end. That's the bit that goes in the ignition on the other side. Alright, so once you snap that back out, here's your screwdriver. Stick that in. Obviously the ignition barrel is not here, and this ring will be off. On the other side to the ignition, you'll see it. There's 3 clicks. The middle click will be on. It has to be in the on position for you to put the new barrel back in. Also your steering lock has to be off. Put your screwdriver in here. You'll see a little recess in here. You push it down and you'll see the steering lock will be on. Push this thing down till it clicks on the inside of this when this is not here. As I said before, this stuff won't be here, and you'll see the steering lock go off. It's got to click, otherwise it won't stay off. So that's got to be off. And the ignition on the other side with the screwdriver here, this is about the right size, I'll get in there, and just turn it to on. Then the new barrel will go in, no problem at all. Now once you put the new barrel in, you need to put these covers back on. Now this is the bottom cover. Now I snapped off these bits off the end, big deal, don't worry about it. There's only one screw that goes in here on the bottom cover. There it is, one, that's it. Now the only thing when putting this thing back on, you've got these, can you see these little things here, right? There's like a little lug that slides into this recess here. You've got to get that right. I'll just zoom in quickly and show you where the lugs are. Here they are. So these 2 little lugs here, right? So they're the 2 I'm talking about. Just zoom back out again. So here, they go on here. So you've got to push this up, get it in the right position, and you know, from looking from underneath, you've got to force this up a bit, get those lugs in the right bit, and it'll slide forward. It'll slide straight forward. The top one will go on like easy, and then you put your screw in, and the bottom, which you no doubt took out in the first place, and it'll sit comfortably. If you don't put that back on right, the steering wheel when you drive is going to scrape against one of these things, and you'll hear a noise and you won't like it. You think, oh, what's that? Alright, so that's what we did, and it was not that hard. Alright, just make sure you carry that thing right and the key works fine before you put it back in the car. Thanks for listening. Here's a close-up again of the part number for the VY Commodore. That's the ignition barrel you get from Holden. Again, these are the chisels, the one that's been modified. I just showed you the wrong one, the original before, but this is the right one. That's the pack of chisels that came out, by the way. Okay, that's the one that's missing. That's all we used. As long as it fits in the ignition, you're right to go anyway.